Critic, and I tell you exactly what I think of a film. And today I'm going to talk about the 2003 film, Bubba Ho-Tep. Bubba Ho-Tep is written and directed by Don Coscarelli, who is most famous for Phantasm, and stars my favorite actor of all time, Bruce Campbell, who is most famous for the Evil Dead trilogy. And it is also based on my favorite author's short story, Bubba Ho-Tep. Now, the film is a comedy, dark comedy, horror film, and it is amazing. I think it is a beautiful film about old age, and you will see why, and I will tell you why. We start the film with text, kind of like Pulp Fiction, where you find the meaning of Ho-Tep and then Bubba. When listening to the commentary, Don Crosby and Bruce Campbell says it's a pretty good way to open the movie because it shows it's got kind of a tongue-in-cheek sense of humor.
Fantastische Kunstgegenstände liegen neben dem Schatz vom Nil.
Then we open with a real German newsreel of mummies, and it is actually in German, but the subtitles aren't accurate according to Don Coscarelli himself. So if you do speak German, you can kind of tell which is not accurate. And now there's a Shady Rest, which is in Mud Creek, Texas, East Texas, where Joe Lansdale is from. Now, they actually shot in a abandoned vet hospital, I think, and they had a bunch of room. They also shot the trailer park sequence in the back lot, so they had a lot of room to shoot. So that was cool. And Bruce Campbell said he also agreed to do the movie because they shot the movie in 6 weeks, because that's enough time to make a good movie. And these long hallway shots are cool. Now we get the first line from Bruce Campbell as Elvis.
I was dreaming my dick was out.
Now, the thing that's great about this movie is a lot of the expository inner monologues from the book are kept in the movie, or not the book, the short story, and I think that they work great. And I love how Elvis is thinking to himself, how can he go from the king of rock and roll to this?
I've gone from the king of rock and roll to this.
And like I said, he's like, he doesn't even know what he's doing anymore. He's just laying in bed all day. It is a pretty good philosophical question.
Is there finally and really anything to life other than food, shit, and sex?
Because according to Elvis' life, all you do is, eat and shit because you gotta eat to live and you gotta shit it out. And sex is important to keep the species going. So to Elvis' mind, is there even more to life than that? Especially now where all he does is shit in his bed and eat. And he doesn't have Priscilla anymore, who doesn't even know he's alive. She did know, would she even see him? Because she, in the short story, he says she left him after watching him cheat on her, catching him cheating on her. And next to him is a dying man who dies right next to him while he's reaching out his hand. This next scene is how you call comedy comes in threes, and I'll tell you why. And now we get our first kind of mummy scene. So you see this person who's kind of a shitty person. She steals glasses from a girl in iron lung. And she steals chocolate. Although, I love how happy she looks eating stolen chocolates. And then we see a beetle, which bites her hand. And I love this line.
Squish, you cockroach.
We see our first look at Bubba Ho-Tep. The mummy. And yeah, although this shot according to Don Coscarelli is the funniest shot in the movie, but according to Bruce Campbell is terrifying.
Help me.
Now we get another scene where these two die. Remember, this is number 2. I'm telling you, comedy comes in threes.
I was merely going to suggest that you use some of this here deodorizer.
And now we see Elvis has kind of visions where he can't really tell what's going on. All the hours of the day kind of overlapping each other because, like I said, he's an old man in bed because he has nothing to do. And now Bull's daughter comes, and Elvis says he could have visited him because he always talked about her, and they don't charge money for that.
You could have come and seen him. They don't charge you for that.
And he's wondering about his own daughter. Now we get to see Elliot Joyce as the nurse, who calls him Mr. Half, thinking that he's actually an Elvis impersonator, not the real Elvis.
It isn't my favorite patient. How are you this morning, Mr. Hare?
Which he explains he wanted to quit the life because, in his own words,
I sucked on pills, you know. I wanted out.
so he switched places with an Elvis imitator named Sebastian Half, who they think he's Sebastian Half. And he took place, but Sebastian Half had a bad heart, like heart problems, and he allowed drugs a lot more than he did as he died. And Elvis seen so much. They ask him, why did he leave all that fame and all that money?
I don't know. Because they got old.
Beautiful too.
The woman I love, Priscilla, she was gone.
So really, he just got fed up with the drugs, the fame, the fact that Priscilla left him. So he wanted to switch places with an impersonator, Sebastian Half, in Nacogdoches, Texas. This next shot is amazing. This is some great acting from Bruce Campbell coming up here, because Bruce Campbell plays Sebastian Half and Elvis.
God. I didn't think you'd really...
Kiss the ring of the king, baby. So you can tell right here, Sebastian is actually impersonating Elvis. He has that bit of pie left.
Just another freak.
And then if you notice here, he tries to open the door, but if you notice before, Elvis never opens the door himself. Someone opens it for him. So there's some nods to knowing that he is Elvis. It's Sebastian. And then it turns out he lost his contract. He made with Sebastian in a barbecue accident, which he doesn't mind. Although the nurse tells him not to take it too far. No one believes him. Except for one dude. A man named Jack, played by the great Ossie Davis, who believes he is JFK, but he's been dyed black.
No offense, but President Kennedy was a white man.
That's how clever they are. They dyed me this color.
And he also believes that there's his part of his brain is in DC, and there's a bag of sand in there. I love Ozzie's performance here. Like, when you hear him, he thinks he's JFK. You believe he thinks JFK. He's such a great veteran actor. I mean, the man gave the eulogy at Malcolm X's funeral. And also, I love his performance. If you notice, he's always looking around to see if there's any government people trying to kill him. And now we get more of Elvis's backstory, where it turns out he had a bad hip, and he fell off stage, and that's how he got into the rest home. And now we have a great scene where Elvis battles the beetle that always follows Bubba Ho-Tep, and he kills it by frying it. And also says this:
Never fuck with the king.
So he goes up, he finds Jack on the floor, and he thinks there's an assassin, most likely Lyndon B. Johnson, saying he's real damn ugly. Oh, there's this great line of, like, Elvis says, Mr. Johnson's dead, and he's like,
Shit. That ain't gonna stop him.
but yeah. Now they know there's something afoot. And here's Reggie Bannister, who's also in the Phantasm movies, where they have a little improvised scene between him and Bruce Campbell.
What kind of bugs have you been seeing?
Well, look, man, do I look like an ichthyologist to you?
During dinner time, we find out Kemosabe, who was friends with Elvis, but now he doesn't remember who he is. He's kind of senile.
Bush. Under the bridge. I saw him under the bridge.
After that, we get another scene where Elvis is hallucinating his daughter this time. But Jack wakes him up, says that the guy is back, the assassin, but he figures out it's not Lyndon Johnson or Castro. Oh, I love this right here.
I know you're Elvis.
Jack admits he knows he's Elvis, but he also says there was a rumor that he hated him. But he thought, hey, if he hated me, why didn't he kill me that night? He saved me instead. So he has Elvis tell him that he had nothing to do with Dallas. It's a sweet scene.
I had nothing to do with Dallas.
May I call you Elvis instead of Sebastian?
And now they're friends, and now Jack calls him Elvis. So they find these hieroglyphics in the shithouse wall, and they kind of see that this person is from Egyptian times. And then we see that the Bubba Ho-Tep has killed somebody else. So Jack reveals that the person had his lips over his asshole, and the way he says asshole is so cool. It's like so professional and so well acted. Also, this time's pretty funny.
Would you like a ding-dong? Oh, I don't mean mine. I mean a chocolate ding-dong. Of course, mine would be chocolate now that I have been dyed.
Yeah, basically, Jack explains that a soul can be taken from any orifice, but the mummy for some reason is the asshole. And the performance here of Jack, of Ossie Davis as Jack is so great. Just him, explain this to Elvis. And the cool thing is, Elvis was actually into the occult and stuff, so this isn't too far off. Then Bubba Ho-Tep comes, and Elvis sees him and has his flashbacks, which is really cool. This is really the only gory scene in the whole movie. Then Kimosabe, who saw his roommate being attacked, starts shooting after Bubba Ho-Tep and dies of a heart attack. Soul intact. This is a beautiful scene too. How he takes the mask of Kimosabe. And then after that, we get a great scene where Bruce Campbell gets an erection.
A presidential election since I had a boner like that one.
Yeah, Elvis hasn't had an erection in a long time, and now he finally gets one because he's finally thinking of something interesting other than his next meal and stuff. So yeah. And the next time he does the cream himself, and he watches an Elvis marathon. Funny enough, there isn't Elvis movies in that marathon. They're just some stock footage because there's no way they could afford an Elvis movie or even Elvis music in this movie.
To present the Elvis Presley movie marathon.
And then Ossie Davis comes and says he found more research on his mummy, saying that they were showing him around and then that the bus got washed away, which Elvis saw. And now that the mummy is free, he's going to be feasting on souls there forever because if you think about it, they're all there to die of old age, and the ones who don't die that way, well, he gets. So Jack leaves thinking he's probably going to stay up all night and not let him wrap his lips around his asshole. And then Elvis starts thinking his life's been good.
Treated me, and now I realize I never had any pride. And much of how life had treated me had been good, and the bulk of the bad was my own damn fault.
All the bad stuff happened because of him. All the drugs and shit. So he decides he's going to save the rest of them because those are his friends.
I'll be damned if I let some foreign graffiti-writing, soul-sucking son of a bitch in an oversized cowboy hat and boots take my friends' souls and shit them down the visitor's toilet.
I love this so much.
I always played heroic types. But when the stage lights went out, it was time for drugs and stupidity and the coveting of women.
Elvis calls Jack saying this.
Mr. Kennedy, ask not what your rest home can do for you. Ask what you can do for your rest home.
And I do love Jack's response.
Hey, you're copying my best lines.
So they plan to kill the mummy. They add all the stuff they need and they think that fire cleanses the evil spirit. They're to burn it. And I love this shot. Fucking beautiful. So Elvis has a medicine bag, which is what the Indians, well he calls Indians, used to use in battle. Mucho mojo.
Mucho mojo.
I do love this line about their children.
We weren't there for our kids when they needed us, were we?
Man, if I could just talk to her again.
I love Bruce Campbell's performance in this. Oh, I do love this too.
Monroe, what's she like in a sack?
That is classified information. Top secret.
Jack Bronx is perfect. Have a big fight with a mummy, and Jack has a heart attack and tells Elvis he has to finish him off.
Is soon dead. So now it's up to you, Elvis.
I always cry at this part.
That's right, man. We're on TCB.
Alright, anyway, so that chant was bullshit. Anyway, so he takes on Bubba Ho-Tep himself. They fly over a cliff, and it looks like it's the end for Elvis. And he won't see the afterlife. But he tricked him.
What a quick blush.
TCB, baby.
Now all the liquid nitrogen, whatever, or the gas, or the whatever is all over him, and he lights a match, and he burns, and the souls escape.
Soul-sucking days are over, amigo.
And he burns in the where he was free from, so now he's nothing but a husk of burnt flesh. Or whatever mummy is, I don't know. And here we have Bruce Campbell's finest performance. His final moments as I love how he's able to say so much with his face and with his narrations. He gives an amazing performance. Like I said, this is a beautiful movie about how old age and how people don't treat their old people very well. How these people had to literally fight a mummy because the administrators at the restaurant don't give a shit. They're just waiting for them to die. So Elvis had to save the day.
All mine. The folks up there at Shady Rest, they have theirs too.
I almost want to cry. So Elvis saved everybody in the rest home, and he saved his own soul, and Jack's soul as well, because Jack was almost sucked his soul out by the mummy, but he died with soul intact. This is a beautiful ending.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'm gonna admit it. I cry twice every time I see this movie, and this is a movie where Elvis Presley in the 70s fights this ass-sucking mummy, so say what you will. And that was Bubba Ho-Tep, an amazing dark comedy written with so much heart from the adapted screenplay of the great novella by Joe R. Lansdale, a great performance of Bruce Campbell, a great performance of Ossie Davis. Everybody did great. Bob Ivy needs some props to be Bubba Ho-Tep because he did like a full body burn, which is very dangerous, and that's crazy. I mean, I don't even have to talk about it. I mean, this movie is just great. I mean, you can all check it out. It's a great movie. I think I got the Keen edition or whatever for like $5, and it has those great special features, including an audio commentary with Bruce Campbell in character of Elvis doing the audio commentary, which is great. Yeah, I mean, if you enjoy this review, read the short story by Joe Orlando, watch the movie, and yeah, just check it out. It really is an amazing film. Remember to like the video, comment, and subscribe if you like to. Honest Critic, out.